Hello there. Well, managed to get my Peacock account working again. Incidentally, was when the last movie came out last year around this time that I was having trouble with it as well. And that was on top of the ice storm that we had as well around that area. Yeah, well, at least well after it. So, the time has come for my review and discussion on this year's Halloween Ends, the finale to not only this trilogy, but also the entire franchise to this point. So, let's begin. After the a brief prologue in the year 2019, much simpler time in hindsight, imagine that. That we pick up a few years after where her last movie left off, where her Laurie Strode, played again by Jamie Lee Curtis, is still trying to come to grips with her previous encounter with Michael Myers, and yet as it gets closer to Halloween night and the bodies begin piling up yet again, and she must confront her past boogeyman as well as her other metaphorical past demons one last time. And before I get too into that, I'm gonna try not to be too spoilery about the specifics. Next, I will be talking about again the previous installments. Let's keep it the ones I can in this specific era of the franchise so I can keep manageable figure. I'll talk about the other ones in a few minutes as well. So, and the original 1978 Halloween, as I mentioned before, is a classic, no question about it. I really enjoy the 2018 reboots, given how it did something similar to ones I had in the past, where they only took that film as canon. They figuratively and literally cut the nonsense, just focused on what made that first one so effective. That Michael was not some supernatural entity like Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, or even Pinhead and the other Cenobites. A man, pure and simply evil. Well, I mean, to a point where his body double in every film is credited simply as the Shape. I mean, even though Nick Castle is not the last one this time around, he is still in the movie. I'm not going to say how. And Halloween Kills last year, I mean, they filmed this movie and the last one at the same time. It would have been out a year earlier, as was this one, before, everything happened. And, I mean, knife wielding maniacs can handle, I mean, a pandemic of this nature is a bit trickier to navigate. But all things considered, I didn't think that one was as bad as other people thought. I mean, in fact, I noticed the pattern that audiences seem to be a bit kinder towards it than critics were. And my only real beef with that one was that it kind of plays it safe after what the 2018 film did. So there's that. That said, there's a lot to enjoy in this film as well. I mean, again, the kills themselves are quite effective, and I like how they're being done practically, and partnering with Blumhouse, who not every film that they've produced has been a masterpiece, but they definitely know how to make a lot out of a little. All that definitely much in tune with the early installments and their specific low budget nature. I mean, everything looking very gritty, dirty, get a good sense of how the town has been affected in more subtle ways is by Michael's rampages. I mean, and everyone from a simple babysitter to even the medical staff, even if they're physically unscathed by Michael himself, off in their head, it can really wreak havoc on someone. And granted, there is some fluff in here, like the pacing is a bit much near the beginning. I mean, it takes a while for it to really get going. I mean, the first act is kind of a bit heavy with some of the people are going to be the victims by the way that they behave. I mean, but once it gets going, it doesn't really stop. I mean, they really kept their word about finally breaking the previous one's record about the body count. I mean, Yeah, and they definitely keep their word by the denouement, I will say that. Quality wise, I feel it's similar to the movie last year. I don't consider it to be any better, nor do I consider it to be any worse. Neither one really the same order of magnitude as that first one, but I'll say this, it's better than Halloween Resurrection at least. There was a slight reference that's dig at that movie, I'll say that. There's a lot of Easter eggs to who the other entries in the franchise, even the ones that aren't technically considered to be canon, and then and as well as Carpenter's other works, like how the titles are referenced to Halloween 3 from 1983, which I think could have done a lot better if they treated it like in the same fictional universe as opposed to a direct sequel. That's basically the same thing that they do now with all these Conjuring movies and their spin offs, and they've made crazy amounts of money. They're working on another one for The Nun as I speak. I mean, we get some things like the truck that was used in Halloween 4, or we see people watching Carpenter's original Assault on Precinct 13 as well as his version of The Thing, which, on top of him being involved, also owned by Universal, makes it easy to have him in there. And I'll probably be covering the latter before the month is out, since the 40th anniversary and all. And so $20 million is definitely a. It's made on the higher end of what Blumhouse has been known to spend, but it's still relatively modest and within keeping the horror one. It's already in the black as I say this. Opening weekend, not quite as huge as the last couple movies, but still. $42 million gives it a nice little shot in the arm to the box office, especially right before or Black Adam. And forgive me for the Phineas and Ferb reference once again, but if I had a nickel every time I saw two hit movies in the same week, one from Universal, I'd have two nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's worth it's happened twice. So, what does this mean for the franchise as its future prospects? I honestly do not know at this point. If this truly is the end, then it does make it like a flaw, but otherwise overall solid film to go out on because I don't see anything being done much further here, given how they had the whole sort of torture franchise and run attitude towards it, like how they basically put as many people on the ground as they can, and so barring another reboot in the near future or exploring the universe in other ways, is I don't see much happening. Like maybe they could include him in a video game, and a good one. I'd even be open to another one, including Michael in Mortal Kombat 12 if the opportunity came. It's also 30th anniversary of that series as well. But if this truly is the end, maybe it's okay to move on. I did hear that both David Gordon Green and Danny McBride was interested in remaking the cult classic Phantasm, which is one of the many horror films that came out in the wake of the original Halloween success, which, even though it didn't too well when it first came out, it had to up a cult following over time, to say the least. I also want them taking a crack Friday the 13th now the lawsuit's finally settled. There's even a character named Cunningham in this film. I won't go into reasons why, but he plays a big role in this one. Exactly. So, bottom line, I'm definitely glad I was on Team Laurie. I'm not going to say how, but I will say that I definitely have seen worse ways to spend an hour and 50 minutes. It's in the last couple of years. I definitely consider myself be willing to watch this more or annually than I would Halloween Resurrection. And on that note, in the pantheon of more divisive Halloween sequels, it's definitely one I'd also watch more willingly than the Rob Zombie movies or that one with the thorns, I believe. So I will give this a solid 3 stars out of 4, and it's not going to be the only horror content I'll be bringing in this month. As I said before, some will be good, some will be bad, some will be a bit of both, and I will definitely touch you all very soon, and I hope you enjoy seeing me in my Makes Obi-Wan cosplay. So that'll be all for now. Take care, everyone.